been thinking a lot about this journey, this spiritual journey, and I think there are just a couple of things I really wanted to share from my personal experience. There are days when it is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting, and there's a reason for that. It's because of the illusion of gravity. It's because we believe that at all times things are basically coming at us, right? There's this pressure, there's this constant, not enoughness or feeling of lack, and it pushes you down. And so the idea is that if you're not walking a spiritual path, if you're not walking scripture to scripture, sermon to sermon, church service to church service, and let's admit it, you also have the barbecues, and you also have the dinners, and you also have the Bible studies, and you also have any of the meetings that they want to do. I mean, it's a very structured life. And I think the reason for that is because if you don't have that, you feel that pressure, and that pressure can crush you. Now, on the other side, you also have spirituality. And when it comes to spirituality, you have the exact same thing, except for you have a limited amount of information. If you think about it, pick any path out there. There is far less information that you can get your hands on when it comes to frequencies, and when it comes to tuning forks, when it comes to Reiki, when it comes to clairvoyance, or anything along those lines. There is a very limited amount of information. So you're almost on this path of constantly having to find new things to give you that exact same structure that you had with religion. And if you never started with religion, that's totally okay. That's not what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be religion versus spirituality, because if you didn't start in religion, then in all honesty, you still started with the reflection of religion. In other words, you didn't want that path, so you went to a different way. And no matter how you view this, all of these paths are this constant awareness. You have to constantly be looking for the next thing and the next thing to keep you from feeling this pressure that you feel is coming down on you. And I think all of that goes back to the illusion of gravity. Okay, now I'm not disputing any scientists or anything along those lines. I am giving you a very general understanding that as we have been progressing with intelligence, as we have been progressing with science and math, quantum mechanics, right? Quantum mechanics came about in 1909, and we're just now being able to play with it and interact with it and build computers and things like that. So just because you have a great idea does not mean that it is the thing that we have to set up our whole foundation on. And I have studied a lot when it comes to Sir Isaac Newton, all the way down to the understanding of possibly why he actually changed his name to Sir Isaac Newton. But the most important part that I get out of this is that if a singular person was sitting underneath a tree, and a tree drops an apple, or he basically has this apple fall from the sky, that's where his idea of where gravity came from is very flawed. Because the idea is that this pressure basically pushed this apple off of the tree down to where he is, right? Which then leads you to a belief of your whole entire life that at all times things are basically coming down on you, right? It's a very dualistic understanding of feeling like the world is just collapsing on you, that you can't do anything because you have this immense stone that you have to, basically push up a hill, right? And so if you go back to that exact moment where the apple fell and change the story, change it from that point, and basically say, what if it didn't fall because of gravity? What if it fell because the tree wanted to give you that apple? Breaks everything wide open, and it gets you right back to what quantum mechanics is really talking about, which is that everything is sentient, everything is aware, right? It's not trying to get jobs, it's not trying to find its religion, but it is very much aware. And when we get all the way down to the double slit experiment, what are we looking at? We're looking at photons of light that are actively aware that they're being observed, and then choosing how they're going to respond based off of that observation. Okay, so it's the exact same thing. We are talking about intelligence. And so if you go back to that story and you say, what if the tree gave the apple? Now you can view your life in a different way. Now you can look at it and say, when you want something in your life, when you desire something in your life, that the universe will give it to you, that the tree will drop the apple. right? If you live in another area in the world, that the tree will drop the coconut or drop the pineapple, or I think pineapples grow from the ground. But I mean, the idea is basically the understanding of when you want something in this world, it will give it to you. Not the understanding that if you don't keep moving forward at a constant pace, faster than the pressure you feel in your life, you'll get crushed. It's completely different places to come from. And so the next time that you think about gravity and the next time that you feel like the world is happening to you, I want you to reverse that sentence and I want you to ask yourself this question. What if it's you that's happening to the world? What if everything is designed so that when you observe it, it has a choice on whether or not it gives to you? Right? This is something I teach people when it comes to aerokinetics. You can stand out there and you can stare at your pinwheel as long as you want. You could try to force it. You could try to find some scientific or some spiritual ways that you can justify basically controlling that situation. But anybody who has taken my class knows full well you have no control in that situation. It was never about control. It was about another C word. And that C word is collaboration. When you collaborate with the energy that is around you, you get results. Now, this is not just in aerokinetics. This is in finances. This is in careers. This is in passions and goals and drives. When you observe what you actually want and you understand that what you're observing has the choice on whether or not to give it to you, that changes the whole entire game for you. All right? Get your 9 vibes aligned.